Okay, now it's
Okay, here we go. All right, we're going to take a little tour of our bean crop this year with Daria, Devi, Dasi explaining what each one of these is. Okay, we'll start here at the front.
These are Romano beans. They're a pole bean, and as you can see, they're quite prolific. These are scarlet runner beans. The hummingbirds love the flowers, and they look really pretty. They're also a pole bean. This is rattlesnake bean. It's another heirloom pole bean. Not so smaller than some of the others and not so productive this year. This is lazy wife pole bean. I'm sure if men shelled beans, they'd be called smart husband beans. Sometimes they're very prolific. This year, not so much. This bean, I'm really not sure what it is. I think it might be a dark version of this, the tongues of fire bean. It's a semi-bush, semi-pole horticultural bean, but I never bought a bean like that, so I'm really not sure where it came from.
So tell me, what's this bush and what's pole when we go through this?
This is Good Mother Stollard, and it's a pole bean.
These are the kind I like the best.
And they produce a lot of beans. They're more work and more equipment. When I first got them, I had trouble telling them apart from this because when they come out of the shell, they both have white backgrounds, but this one turns to a cream or tan later, so then I can tell them apart. The slugs were hard on the bush beans this year. They ate up all the plants, so
Most of them.
this is mostly just going to be plants for seeds next year.
These all bush?
These are all bush, and they're all heirlooms. This is speckled yellow eye, Jacob's cattle, king of the early, tiger eye, yellow wax, and we have just a few yin and yang beans down there.
That's all we got?
That's all we got.
Wow. Pick those up so you can see them, the yin and yang. Put them in your hand.
We have a friend who thinks they look like cows.
Yeah, I like these beans.
They're magic.
Magic.
Magic
Yin and
beans.
yang. Okay, moving along here.
These are
Yeah, in the light there. Okay. Okay, that's all right.
These are Lowe's Champion. They're a cranberry bean, traditional to New England. They're a bush bean, but they're the most prolific of all the bush beans. They have this lovely ruby color and nice fat shape. Sometimes when I'm sorting beans and I'm having trouble deciding what they are, I can tell what they are by the shape and the way they feel. Now this is another pole bean. It's Kentucky Wonder. It's always prolific and reliable the way
I even like the
the
sound.
Romano beans are.
Yeah, the sound of these.
It has a really lovely smooth feel when you pick it up. Always a certain variation. Now when I come to these light colored beans, I sometimes wonder if they're actually just a tan version of the Lazy Wife, but they feel different than the Lazy Wife, so.
Can we do that one?
This one?
Yeah.
We already did Good Mother Stollard. It's 18 pounds of beans here.
And that compares to from other years?
Last year we had almost 29, I think. 27 pounds of beans, and the year before we had 13 or 14. So it's not a great year for beans, but it's not a bad year for beans.
And we always have some left every year.
Yeah.
So Christian provides. I'd like to put my hands in these things. It's like grains, you know, when they grow different grains like wheat and barley. And after you get done cleaning them, you just run your hands through them. It's just like, feels like gold.
And they
Better
all
than gold.
taste a little bit different from each other. And they all have different cooking times, which is why I separate them out. But I also separate them out so that I can see which ones did better
Do
different
the larger
years.
ones take longer to cook?
Not necessarily.
So some are more dense, even
Yeah.
though they might be the same size.
Yeah. And I'll weigh them individually, except these little ones that are barely worth weighing. Then I'll put them in the freezer for a few, like 2 days, before I store them in airtight containers. I freeze them to kill any bugs. It doesn't kill the seed itself, if you think about it. These things go through New England winters without worrying up and still sprout in the spring, so freezing them doesn't kill the plant.
Any concluding remarks?
They're pretty, aren't they?
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Subtle.
Yeah.
They look like a beautiful tweed fabric.
Did you say what this was? Scarlet runner bean?
Yeah.
So, how come it's not red?
The flowers are scarlet.
Exactly.
The beans
And
are
the hummingbirds
purple.
can find these really quickly.
Yes.
Okay, that's it for the beans. Hare Krishna.